Hello guys, my name is Maria Andersen. We talk about crypto, blockchain, money, investments, everything crypto related on this channel. Today I have a special guest, Travis, who is a social media crypto star with almost 500,000 followers on TikTok. Hello Travis, how are you doing today?
Thank you for having me here. It's great to be here. I'm back in Dubai. This is one of the top places to be right now.
Yeah, so cool. So cool to see you finally in real life.
I know. We've been friends online and we finally connected in real life.
Yeah.
And you see you're doing good. I'm like, hey, I got to get on the show.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about money, obviously. Let's talk about your personal story. How did you get there? How you became so popular on TikTok with almost 500,000 followers?
Wild story. But yeah, I was super into gold back in the day. Total gold bug. Hated Bitcoin. Friend told me about it. Didn't believe it. And I was speculating on Bitcoin so I could buy gold because this website would allow you to pay in Bitcoin.
Oh, wow.
And I made one transaction and I was like, that was easier than using a credit card. Went down the rabbit hole, listened to a lot of Max Kaiser, learned about it. I'm like, hey, this is going to be the next big thing. And I had a very good job in business back. I just quit everything.
No way.
And kind of during COVID, I wanted to get a ticket out of town, a second residency, and I had been going to Panama for many years.
Wow.
So I got a Panama residency.
Okay.
And part of the thing is you have to create a corporation there. And usually most people, it's like a dummy company and then you shut it down. So I already had this company and I have a lot of friends down there. And I went to one of them like, hey, do you know where I could put an ATM, a Bitcoin ATM? And he's the CFO of the third largest retailer. Okay. So it's like equivalent of like Home Depot in America. And they cut all the red tape and I put a Bitcoin ATM next to the bank ATMs in these huge stores.
Oh my God.
So I started off in Panama. We expanded to Costa Rica and then Paraguay. Mm-hmm. And then that's where I got into Bitcoin mining. Was Paraguay has the second largest hydroelectric dam in the world.
I didn't know that.
And not a lot of people know that. They share it. It's 50% ownership with Brazil. Wow. And Paraguay is not a very industrial country. It's agricultural. So they, for years, have been selling this energy back to Brazil for pennies on the dollar because you can't export the energy.
Yeah, true.
Here comes Bitcoin. And mining exploded there. So I got into mining in Paraguay, and then from there, Bosnia, Dubai, and kind of, took off. And as far as making, TikToks and content online, I never wanted to do it. I was hiring people to do it, and they were letting me down. They weren't showing up. They wanted all this money. And then I just got sick of it. I'm like, I'm just going to do it myself. And those kind of the early days of TikTok. Mm-hmm. And I would just post like a video of people using the ATMs, and it would get like 1 million views because everyone was watching, but no one was making content back in the day.
Yeah, so cool.
My brand right now is Bitcoin Capitalist, but I had my Bitcoin ATM company where we started doing the TikToks, and then I made my personal brand, which was in English because the TikTok one original was in the Spanish.
Wow, that's version. So cool! Spanish is also a very popular language. Yeah, cool.
So that's kind of the backstory.
Wow, that's a huge, fascinating story. But originally, you are from the United States.
Yes, I'm Southern California, Newport Beach area, and before I was doing this. We own a very large packaging distribution company. I sell UPS, Amazon boxes. And then I was one of the first Amazon drop shippers like 8 years ago. So you see the YouTube guys are like, learn how to drop ship. Yeah. I was like literally like one of the first people. I was so early that Amazon used to call me and then I would pick up and it would be like a board meeting. And they would be like, how do you feel about this and this? And I would tell them like what was working and what wasn't working. So at one point, I had about 50,000 items on Amazon.
That's crazy.
And kind of like what I did different was I would do pay-per-click campaigns on Amazon and force all my products to the top. So everyone just buys the first product. And I had, through my existing business, all these products and catalogs I could get a hold of. And we would just scrape all these companies' websites, put it in Excel, and upload it to Amazon. But just like everything, it gets saturated. Yeah. Everyone tries to do it. It was good while it lasted, and now I think Bitcoin is going to be one hell of a ride, and I want to be involved.
Yeah, for sure. But you tried a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
Before Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So cool.
So
would you recommend those maybe beginners who are watching our video to get into crypto now? Because many people think, oh, it's too late already. Bitcoin is hitting $100,000. I'm too late. Okay, maybe in the next bear market when it will be like 20K, I will buy some.
No, it's ridiculous. It is going up for a very long time. We are still very early in Bitcoin. People were saying that at 20,000, 30, they think it's, they don't understand yet. It is going up. Everything else is going down.
Yeah.
And, you are going to be forced to buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, for sure.
And at what price, that's up to you.
Yeah,
do you want to buy early, make a lot of money, or do you want to wait till for a financial crisis to happen and you're buying in a panic and you might not be able to buy?
Yeah,
and
sure.
your currency you're in, you could lose everything. And that's what I think is coming in the next couple of years with all the inflation and crazy economics.
So you think financial crisis will be eventually here in the near future?
I think it's coming. And, in the U.S., they haven't allowed the free market to work. So, real estate during COVID, it should have crashed. And the government's, no one's got to pay their mortgage.
Yeah.
So then there's no inventory. Prices on real estate skyrocket because even the natural bankruptcies weren't there for homes.
Yeah.
So you have these crazy bubbles and, the stocks go down, government gives BlackRock more money to buy stocks. So they're manipulating everything.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like black swan theory. The more you try to manipulate and control everything, the higher probability an unlikely event will happen and wreck the system and no one will ever see it coming. And that's kind of, I think, what we're heading to because we're not allowing free markets to work. And, Bitcoin's the last free market in the world right now, I believe. Even gold's manipulated. Who sets the price of gold? The banks.
Yeah, for sure.
So gold and silver should be way higher than it is right now. So I feel sorry for people that listen to Peter Schiff. I used to be one of them. But, you make 20, 30%. You're not making any money on gold. They are right. Gold and stuff should be crazy, but there's no price discovery in gold. There is price discovery in Bitcoin. And there's no other use of Bitcoin than pure money. It is pure money, and that's why it's perfect. It's not used in anything else but price discovery and money.
Yeah, for sure. I understand what you mean because I actually met Peter once at one Bitcoin conference. I don't know why he attended all the Bitcoin conferences. And he told me, okay, so look at my wife's, let's say, golden bracelets. Here they are, take. And he gave me his wife's golden bracelets in my hand. And he said, you can touch it, you can feel it. And what is your Bitcoin? Where it is? Show me, give me it.
Bitcoin is physical in a sense because it is the largest, blockchain network in the world. Yeah. So, we should take Peter Schiff to a mine. You can touch this, right? You can touch these machines that are mining it. It is physical. It is backed by one of the largest computing networks in the world. That's the physical aspect of Bitcoin. And that's why when I post a lot of Bitcoin mining videos, they go very viral. Because people are like, how is cryptocurrency mined? I thought it was this fake thing. No.
Sure.
When you send a transaction, it is validated by this, mining network and these computers, and they generate fees off of that. Similar to like when you want to go send a bank transfer, the bank takes that fee. It's the same thing. When you send Bitcoin, the miners take the fees. And when, right now I just try to send this big transaction and it was very slow. So if I want to go faster, I pay more money. That goes to the miners. That's, how the system works right now.
Yeah.
And, people that can't conceptualize, having a physical thing, they're gonna miss out on making a lot of money.
For sure, they want to have something physical, but they actually don't understand that now we see less and less physical, even fiat cash.
Yeah.
Like you see numbers in your bank account, and they don't. They don't mean anything, right?
What's
it's
real?
Just numbers. They are not real. And actually, they don't belong to you also. Yeah. And Bitcoin is the only money that can belong to you, right?
Yeah, and everything else pretty much has a counterparty risk, but, Bitcoin and gold. And, the biggest thing is also, say you're in Ukraine and the war's starting and all your money is in the bank. It's worthless. Your real estate is worthless.
Do anything.
Good luck trying to get your gold across the border. If you had a couple million in Bitcoin, you just move to Dubai, you have the same quality of life.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin's also just an insurance policy. And if you're rich right now, you know, I mean, hey, you don't have to go bet, you know, the house, the mortgage on Bitcoin. You put 1% as a, you know, insurance policy. You get insurance on your home, right? Your car,
for sure,
Why not your money? You know, and in financial crisis, it's very cheap insurance. And God forbid something happens and Bitcoin's worth a bunch. You and your family get on a flight. You have your 24 seed phrase in your head, and you can go anywhere in the world and have money.
Yeah, that's what I love about Bitcoin also. But it's a little bit too hard actually to explain Bitcoin and blockchain to people who are complete beginners, like my relatives. I always say about this example because they say, oh, this is all a bubble. Electricity will shut down one day and your Bitcoin will go to zero.
I forced my family to buy Bitcoin.
Oh, wow.
I set them all up with dollar cost averaging because no one knows what the price is. You know, all these traders, no one knows where it's going. It's going up, but it is very volatile. I just set everyone up, hey, $100 a month, $50 here, whatever they could afford.
Yeah, so cool.
And kind of got them in the bear market. They're all messaging me now, oh my God, I made all this money. And just set it and forget it. Don't try to trade it. And, you know, it will accumulate and you'll be very happy, you know, in 3 years. You know, 3 years is like, should be your timeline on Bitcoin. Don't think about even touching it for 3 years. People are like, oh, I want to put it in for a month and make this money. Like, it's not going to happen.
No. So it's a great, actually, advice for those beginners. Well, obviously, we are not giving any financial advices here, but it's a great advice. Like, first of all, dollar cost average Bitcoin if you're just a beginner in this space. Don't try to day trade it if you especially don't know anything about it. So don't try, right?
Well, like, there's really not a lot of liquidity in Bitcoin out there. Most of it is on these exchanges that people are trading. They get blown up on trades. That's available. All the big players are buying and putting it in the cold storage. And that Bitcoin is going away forever. And that's why I think we're going to have a massive short squeeze coming very shortly, because there's just going to be days where like, oh, there's no no one can buy any on this exchange. It goes up 10,000 a day. It's going to be crazy because there's not going to be a lot of sellers. And then also the industry for borrowing against your Bitcoin is going to explode, and there's going to be no need to sell your Bitcoin. So you have $1 million in Bitcoin. Hey, I want to buy that nice car, that nice house. You're just going to go put that Bitcoin on deposit, borrow against it with an interest rate, and then, you know, return that money. And a lot of big Bitcoiners are already doing that. So that takes all your pressure off of selling your Bitcoin. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So I just think the amount available is diminishing, because all these big players, everyone's buying, and do not wait to buy your Bitcoin. It waits for no one. And all these people are like, oh, I don't understand it. Well, you know, like, just like I said, it doesn't wait for anyone, and you better learn now because it's going up. Your countries are debasing your currency.
Yeah.
And we've been in the good times. Imagine what Bitcoin's going to look like in the bad times when people are going to the banks and they're not working, they're not open, or you're getting devalued on your holdings in the bank. And that day is coming. It's mathematics. You know, it's not fear mongering. It's just like, hey, like, this is what we're printing and doing. If it can't last forever, it's not.
Yeah, for sure. Do you personally hold any dollars? Like,
of course. I got to pay the bills and do stuff.
Me too. But I'm waiting for that time when we will be paying for everything. Well, maybe in Bitcoin. Who knows?
Well, it's kind of weird right now. I'm not like a complete dollar doomsday, maybe in the long term. But what's actually happening right now is Bitcoin and the dollar are expanding together. And because the U.S. is printing all this money, and we're the world reserve currency. So every other currency is based off the dollar. So when the dollar is going down in value because we print, all these other currencies are devaluing. So I spend a lot of time in Central and South America. All their currencies are getting weaker and weaker. Like in Argentina, it's 110% inflation. And everyone there, they want dollars. So as their currencies are crashing, everyone is running to the dollar. So the market share for the dollar is actually growing, which is kind of counterintuitive, but the dollar is growing in all these unstable currency markets and Bitcoin. And a lot of people back there are like, oh, the Chinese yuan, no one uses that. They haven't internationalized it. They haven't tried. You know, that's not to say some crazy stuff, you know, in the future, maybe, you know, China just launches a gold-backed currency for country-to-country trade, and that could, you know, sink the dollar. But, something like that would almost be like an act of war with the U.S.
It would be so hard to do.
It would be hard to do.
I don't even know why would they want to do it, to put their energy there. Why? Yeah. There are some other options. What do you think about USDT, by the way, which is pegged to United States dollars?
I think it's good. I used to hate it. I'm like, oh
really?
Because I used to, be like super Bitcoin maxi, where I was like, not even USDT, but USDT is great. It makes sense. It helps you move your money in and out. And what a lot of people don't understand, like in Central and South America, the banks are even stricter. So like, if you were, withdrawing cash from like a Binance to your bank, the bank would just seize your whole entire account. So, and moving money it's extremely difficult with the banks. So the OTC markets are really big, where people go give you cash for USDT, and then you send the USDT to exchange, because it's very hard for them to use their banks.
Oh, wow.
So, it has really great utility right now.
Okay. So, that in Europe, it will be not allowed to use USDT, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Starting now? Or?
Yeah, starting from something now this year. So they are going to ban USDT, actually.
Okay.
That's crazy, right? They are trying to control
How are they going to ban it? Like the wallets?
I don't know.
feel like people are still going to use it, because you just use a VPN and then you're like, oh.
Yeah, but anyway, when you complete your KYC, registering on any centralized exchange, they know your origin country, right? Because of your ID. And I think they will be just banning USDT through exchanges, depending on which country you are in.
Everyone's still going to use it. They'll use someone else's name from a different country, open an account, use it.
Yeah. People will find a way.
Yeah, it's kind of a hard thing for them to ban. But it was kind of crazy, because I remember like Elizabeth Warren was like, we're going to ban cold storage wallets, or you're going to have to register to buy that. Yeah. And I'm like,
good luck, guys.
But I'm not going to put it past the government to do stuff like that. I've seen them do stuff in the past. I was like, wow, I can't believe we're going this far. So I think you could have some crazy Bitcoin laws, especially in the US. But it's weird. So Trump wants to adopt Bitcoin, make a strategic reserve. But if it wasn't Trump, I think like if the next 4 years of another administration, they would have banned Bitcoin, or like got rid of mining for environmental reasons. And there would have been a whole, war against Bitcoin. But now I'm like, that's why we could have a super cycle this time. Because I'm like, in my opinion, I thought, the U.S. and Europe was going to be fighting Bitcoin, and all these smaller countries were going to adopt. And it was going to be this uphill battle. But now you have the largest economy in the world adopting it. It could just go bananas, and we have a super cycle, and we go to 1 million, because there's no one stopping you right now.
It will. I believe so. Yeah. Recently we also had a very big Bitcoin conference in Abu Dhabi, and if you know that event, it was a huge one. Even Eric Trump came there with his speech. And oh my God, he's so bullish on Bitcoin. And it actually made a lot of Bitcoiners happy, because he was saying so many good things about Bitcoin. And obviously he's Donald Trump's son, so he maybe tells him something interesting about Bitcoin, something that Trump don't understand.
Well, Trump must have listened to his sons, because if you remember, in his last administration, at the very end, Mnuchin was the Secretary of Treasury. They had a press conference, and he was like, his number one task, before the next 4 years, is to go after Bitcoin and shut it down. And then the whole Jan 6 thing happened, and you never heard anything about Bitcoin, because he was on the defensive, and that kind of disappeared. And now he's totally pro Bitcoin. But that's like everyone. I was super against it. I'm like, this is a scam. Then you learn about it, and I think Trump, he wants to protect the dollar, but he understands Bitcoin's unstoppable. And now's the time for the country to accumulate any they seize. You keep that strategic reserve, just like you have an oil strategic reserve.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is going to spark, global Bitcoin, race for accumulation. And I also think that's why mining's interesting, because we can get to a certain point where, no one's selling any Bitcoin. And the only way to get new Bitcoin is if you're mining it. And so these countries are going to harness nationalize mining and use all their energy to start, mining, Bitcoin and generating it for themselves.
Yeah, like El Salvador does also?
I think they mine a little bit. They've just been mainly purchasing. They don't have, you need very, very cheap energy.
Okay.
Because the mining gets more and more competitive. And the hash rate, which is the amount of, computer computational power mining Bitcoin, just hit an all-time high. So everyone's getting in on this. So you need cheap energy. Your biggest cost in mining is energy. It's like, if you mine, each machine mines $10 a day, like $5 a day cost is energy. Yeah. So the cheaper the energy, the more money you make.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of illegal Bitcoin mining.
Oh, that's bad,
black
right?
mining. So people are stealing energy from the grid. And I mean, it's like a bigger industry than the drug trade in a lot of places. Oh. And I know, in places like Nigeria and stuff like that, they're taking like diesel and they're running generators and just mining and they're stealing the diesel.
Oh, that's bad.
I know it's bad for the environment. I'm like, that's not, we shouldn't be running diesel to mine Bitcoin. But the industry is huge because in all these kind of developing countries where it's corrupt, these guys will just take the energy and at zero cost. And then you have these machines that are mining $10 to $20 a day. Yeah. You're printing money. So it's a massive industry. And in Paraguay, where I work, I would say at one point it was like 80% was illegal mining, and they would just bribe the electrical energy employees.
That's crazy.
And people were making a lot of money back in the day, but the government really cracked down there. So like now, if you get caught, they seize all your equipment and everything. But back in the day, you just pay like a bribe. But it was just massive industry, and that's why you didn't see a lot of videos on mining. I had some of the very few, and I got into mines no one had ever seen before because A, these people don't need money. They already have the stuff set up, so they don't need marketing a lot. B, a lot of these mines are illegal, and they want it hush-hush. And then even if it is legal, each machine is a couple $1,000s. You see these videos with 5 to 1,000 machines. That's millions of dollars of equipment.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You might get robbed.
For sure, yeah.
So it's kind of like a lot. That's why people hadn't seen a lot of those videos because of those three things.
Yeah. So what do you think? What will happen when all the Bitcoin will be mined?
When all the Bitcoin's mined, the miners will process the transactions.
Oh, okay.
So I think. When we send it to each other, that fees will go to the miners, and that will always be there. But we'll see how big also like the Lightning Network gets in the layer 2. And because there's still a lot of on-chain transactions right now with Bitcoin.
Okay, so those miners will still be rewarded.
Yeah, they'll still be rewarded when they process the transactions.
Okay. And what's your most popular video on your TikTok about mining?
Oh, my most popular? I have one in Dubai where there's the 1,200 machines, and I'm standing in front of it, and I think that video has 24 million views.
Wow, that's
just
crazy.
On TikTok.
Wow.
I know. So, and yeah, people that were kind of they're like, we didn't know the videos would go that viral. So I actually had to delete a lot of content because the mines and people I work with, they don't want the attention. So
for sure.
I've actually had to cut a lot of viral videos short.
Oh, I see. So would you recommend anyone to just have a mining machine at home, or it should be a professional thing? Like
you can't mine at home.
You cannot.
The machines, are extremely loud. So it's like, it is just a noisy little machine. It's like being at a rock concert. Like, it's very loud. And you need a special outlet, energy. And the price of energy, depending at your home, like a residential rate, you'll be like losing money. So you need a professional location,
setup,
very good industrial energy, and the machine, so that it's like a computer that runs 24 hours a day, and they get very hot, so they need to be cooled. So when you see these, mines, there's 3 types of ways to cool a Bitcoin miner. One is air cooled. So there's like a wall, and there's like kind of water that drips down the wall, like a water curtain, and that cools it, and then it sucks. There's fans on the other side, and it sucks the air out. So there's kind of like an airflow, and it keeps the miners from overheating.
Interesting.
Then there's hydro mining, which is where they run like a coolant through the machines, and it keeps the machines cool. They're more expensive to do hydro, but the machines are encapsulated, so there's no dust or bugs getting into it, like where the air-cooled ones, where there's fans and there's entries into the device. And the third is immersion mining. This is where you put a Bitcoin miner in like an oil.
Wow.
And it's like submerged. It's pretty interesting to look at. And it's actually getting more popular here because of the temperatures during summer. But your costs and ROI aren't great on it because it's very expensive to, buy that equipment in these immersion mining containers and stuff like that. So the cheapest and easiest way to do it is air cooled. And, if you want to buy a couple of machines, do it, but keep it with a professional hosting facility because you can't really do it at home. I had a friend, he has one of my machines right now. He's like, I was going to plug it into my house. I was like, you will blow your outlets. Don't do that. He did? No, you didn't do it. I told him, like, your house will burn down if you put that thing on. Oh my
God. I thought maybe I should put a small machine at home. No, now I know. No,
there's like, I make videos where there's like little devices where like USB miners and stuff. Those are like gadgets, like they're kind of gifts. You can't make any money doing that.
No money. So what's the reason?
It's people want to learn about it. You can see how the process works. It's kind of a gift, but you're not going to make any money. You need to have these industrial Bitcoin miners, and every year they get more powerful. The hash rate, computational power gets better and better, and then everyone else has to keep up. It gets more competitive, which is good for Bitcoin because
of course
the network gets more secure.
Yeah, for sure. And nothing can hack Bitcoin.
Hopefully.
Quantum computing.
I know. I think the biggest threat is quantum computing in the future. Yeah. But as of now, I haven't heard anything happening. And even if you have that technology, what you would probably do is just use it to mine Bitcoin and become rich.
Yeah.
So if you have the quantum computer, you'd probably just use it to mine and become rich with Bitcoin and not ruin the network. But we'll see. I remember kind of when Bitcoin was like at like 16, 20 grand, there was like kind of a fake news report that it had been hacked.
Oh yeah, something
with
like that.
And it went down, and I don't believe any of that stuff anymore. And the media, crypto media is very corrupt. And some of these big companies will work with traders, and they'll come out with some hit piece, tank it, and they're all trading against that news ahead of time. Yeah, they know
what they're doing,
So just buy, hold, never sell. Don't let these guys scare you out of your Bitcoin.
Yeah.
They're all buying. I know all these very wealthy guys are all buying. One of my family members, this top guy at like JP Morgan, like 2 years ago, they were talking about investing in mining. He's buying personally. Yeah. And he'll say, he's like, we can't recommend it to our clients, but they're all buying it because it's, volatile. And they don't want to look bad, but they all know what it is. They're all buying it, but they don't recommend it to their clients. And by the time they're recommending it, all the gains are gone. And there's no risk, no reward. Like you have to kind of be in early before everyone else knows.
The main thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I started doing this at the end of my business is the end of the last bull market, and I've been making content, telling everyone for 3 years, we're coming back big. Everyone's laughing at me, and now it's like, oh, that's the guy. He's telling us to buy. This is how it works. And now, have a little street cred. I'm not coming in now that's high, like do this. I've been doing it the whole bear market and telling everyone we're coming back, and now we're back, and we're gonna have a good run.
For sure. Well, you know what? I will definitely leave your TikTok and all the links in the description of this video, so you guys definitely go check them out. And do you have any other thoughts about the upcoming crazy cool bull market to wish our audience? Because I think we talked already too much.
Just buy Bitcoin, hold. You will not regret it.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.